All right, we're going to go ahead and get started, and we are recording this. Um, let's just have a quick word of prayer, and then we'll cover a few things and give you a chance to ask any questions. Dear God, thank you for each person that's here and for those that haven't been able to make it and will watch later. And we just ask you to bless our time together and be with each of the communities represented in Jesus' name. All right, good evening, everybody. I'm glad you are here. Want to share a couple things with you just to get started, some resources. So give me just a sec to switch screens here. There to share my screen. All right, couple things that we want to talk about. So first of all, actually, I'm going to come back here to the dashboard. We'll start there. If you haven't gone into the dashboard yet and completed all of the outstanding tasks, make sure that you do that. You see there might be red items here. There might be a red item up by your name in the top right hand corner. There's different things in different places. So there's a number of different things. Just make sure you've got everything completed. One of the things that's very nice this year is when you go to your youth member registration now, there is a express enrollment option now, which for those who have been here, who've been in this before, and will know that sometimes getting your team members signed up is very tedious. But this has streamlined it. It's very easy, very quick. They can do it on a phone. And so what you will do is you'll come in here and there's a link here for a QR code. Now, this is not active for me in this team because I don't have a second coach signed up. So what I need to do is come here and sign up invite a second coach, and then I'll be able to do that. So um, then this will be active. And what you can do then is it give you a QR code that you can email, share, and then team members can just print that and have that available then. Um, and they can just scan it on their phone and register their kids. The parents can register their students into your team. So that's a big thing. Once everybody's in your team, you'll be able to print a roster to bring with you to the competition. So that's a big thing. It's very, very important. You want to get going on that as soon as possible. So get your second coach signed up in there as soon as you can. Um, all right, so that's really kind of the big thing there. There is a link on your dashboard once you're signed up. I don't have it here, but you should have a link to um, Thinkscape, Thinkscape course, which will give you some additional resources that aren't in other places. So definitely something to check out and have available to you. So resources for you, make sure that you are looking at Game Manual Part 1 and Part 2 for the games. Um, Game Manual Part 2, you'll notice that these have updated. Game Manual Part 1 updated on the 4th, which is like 4 days ago. Was that Thursday? Something like that, Wednesday or Thursday. It updated. So there's a brand new version. What's nice about it, though, is if you come in and open up the game manual, you'll see right at the beginning what changed. So you don't have to go through hoping you got all the changes. You can actually look here at any changes to it and highlight those to make sure you're involved there. So definitely take a look at that. Couple things while we're in Game Manual Part 1 is one of the most important things, I believe, is get to up to the right place. I believe it's section 9, which is judging and awards criteria. So this is very important section. Um, and you may say, well, hey, I'm a beginning team. I'm not going to worry about whether I win. I just want to participate. Well, we do want you to worry about whether you win, not because of winning, because it's not about winning. It's really about getting the best experience. So if you come in here and you look at the different awards that are available, scroll down. Here are the different awards and the criteria for those awards. So now a team can just focus on one award and get really good at that. However, a well-balanced team, if you want to get the most um, out of your experience, then you will join. Then you will make sure that you're looking at all the different awards there. So definitely take a look at that. And make sure you're taking a look at all the different awards there. So that's very important to it. I shared out a video, a launch video that had in it some of the changes, highlighted the changes for this season. So make sure that you take a look at that video if you haven't had a chance to look at that launch video. There was a section in there that had a section specifically related to what's changed this season and new things that are coming up. All right, so something else that's very important is your control hubs and your driver hubs need to be updated. So make sure you have updated them with the latest firmware. The easiest way to do this is just simply search for Rev hardware client, and you will then grab a link right here, and this will download and run this program. You plug your hubs into your control hub or your driver hub into your computer, and it will update it for you very simply, very easily. This is also a great way to plug in and back up software from your control hub. So any of your programs and that kind of stuff to do a backup on a regular basis. There's a tool in this to be able to help with that. There's some other ways to do that as well. Now, keep in mind, this has to run on a Windows computer. It will not run on a Mac. It's only Windows. So just make sure that you have a Windows computer available. If you're mainly Mac, that's fine, but you just need to have at least one computer available that can update this, so you can have this installed. So that's a really important piece. So make sure that you get that done on a regular basis. All right, so other things that are important, some cool things that are available this year is April tags. So April tags are new items, and there's a section here just about April tags, which are basically a simplified QR code style tag that can identify things. So that's definitely something available for you. Another tool that can be very helpful to you is called Husky Lens. And I'm just going to search for this, and I will show you what this is. It's a very small AI camera that does a lot of things and helps you with AI, with sensing, color sensing, line sensing. Here's the different things. It has facial recognition, object recognition, tag recognition, so it'll recognize the April tags, object classification, line tracking, object tracking, and color recognition. So it does a whole lot of things. It plugs into the I2C port, and there is a driver available for it with the latest firmware updates. So I would definitely encourage you. These are not very expensive. I believe they're in the neighborhood of $65. Yeah, so here's the price, and this is it's $65. I would get the sleeve, the silicon sleeve for it, and it's $55 plus you get the silicon sleeve. Whether or not you need a cable or not is up to you, but definitely get that and a little bit of shipping. And I want to say we got them for around $65, something like that, maybe $70. And it's a great addition, highly recommended addition to your robot. So definitely check that out if you haven't done so already. We've put out some teasers about that, so make sure you take a look at that. All right, the other thing that I want to highlight here tonight is the FTC Docs website. So FTC-docs at firstinspires.org, and you can just Google, if you just come and Google FTC Docs, it will probably be one of the top items right there on most search engines. This is a great resource. All of your game manuals are here, but there's all kinds of coaching information, resources, hardware, software, all kinds of. This is kind of a really cool hub that they've developed to be able to have as many things as possible here. So just make sure that I would definitely take some time and look through this. Have your kids look through this too for resources. So it's a great resource for you. All right. So those are some of the first things I wanted to highlight for you. Highlight for you here today as you're getting started, and just give you a chance to ask some questions if you have any questions.
Yeah, Mel, I had a question. I know you had mentioned to me over the summer possible I'm trying to think of the word. Well, a grant for like new teams starting. Is that?
Yeah, I'm gonna look. I got your email. I think you sent an email on Friday.
Yeah.
I haven't had a chance to look into. Let me look into that. I think there is something available. It's been a little bit nebulous from the information I've gotten. They told me it's there, so I
Okay.
will get that and get that information to you.
Thanks, Mel. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I'll get back to you in the next day or two here.
Okay.
Any other questions? All right, so our next call we have, and I don't know if a Sunday night works better for you. We tried Sundays. We may move them to maybe a Wednesday or Thursday night. Might be a little bit better than a weekend night. I'm not sure, but let me know your thoughts on that. But we're going to be getting into some more technical things. Sam is here tonight too. Sam, do you have anything you want to add specifically from a referee game perspective this year?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
I can.
Awesome. Yeah, sorry I'm late. So there's a few things that could be talked about. They could be they could be a subject for a future meeting. The drone is very exciting, I think. I think a lot of teams are excited by the drone. The rules surrounding the drone are probably a good thing to go into. You know, what is 20-pound paper and that kind of thing. I've heard of a lot of people say, you know, 20 pounds is really heavy for a single sheet of paper. Yeah.
20-pound paper is photocopied paper, typically.
Yep, it is. It
Yes.
is. But yeah, that kind of thing I could go into. But yeah, well, maybe, you know, at a future meeting, I'll compile some stuff from the Q&A and that kind of thing.
If you would, at our next one, this one I want just, you know, is primarily focused on just an introduction, making sure the high level things are on track, and then definitely next time would be great for that. Give us some game related things for it. So.
I have noticed that field setup this year for people who have the luxury of having a field in their practice space, you do want to be pretty careful with it. We had a robot in 3 weeks scrimmage, and it was mostly fine, but there were a couple of those clamps that hold the rigging that were reversed, and so that had the effect of one of our rigging was a lot less sturdy, and we did have a robot try to climb and fall down. So, you know, it's a little finicky to put together this field, so be a bit careful when you're doing it.
Okay, so double check your directions, and make sure all your clamps and all your fasteners are in the right orientation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey Mel, quick question.
Yes.
Are there any like tips or instructions? We're a rookie team. Are there any tips or instructions for like the we did get the Go Builder kit. There any like instructions to put anything together or some things to look at?
4 wheels is usually good.
Well, yeah, that'll be
okay. I'm oversimplifying that. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm trying to be a little silly in it, but it is a good question. And there isn't specific, one of the things about First Tech Challenge is there isn't a specific, build a robot this way. However, there are a lot of robots out there. So you can look at one of the key things you want to think about is building a platform, a drivetrain that is robust that you can then make that work for you in multiple different things. So, and I don't know if did you do mechanism wheels or not, or you have just standard wheels?
We got the standard wheels, but I'm looking into those mecha wheels. I like them.
Yeah, the mechanism wheels are pretty cool, and you can actually get from Go Build a drive base. And Sam, I don't know, are there in this particular game, I know in some of the previous games, if you had the full width robot, it didn't work really well.
So it's not the same, like it's not as much of it's easier to be wide this year than it was last year, but it is still like being a little narrower can be helpful. I do think the unmodified strafer chassis is probably more viable this year than it has been in a couple seasons, because last
Okay,
year
so
it was very crowded, and then the year before you had the terrain to go over. This
right.
year less so.
So the Go Builda has a strafer chassis, and just the one thing you want to keep in mind on that is that there may be seasons. What they've done in the past is they've had seasons where there's kind of a narrow gap where if you have an 18-inch wide robot, the 18-inch wide robot won't fit through the gap. You can have one; it's not illegal, but it doesn't fit. But that just means you'd have to narrow your chassis a little bit, and you could even get the strafer kit, and you could narrow that chassis with some modifications to it. So there are different ways of doing that, but that's just something to keep in mind. But you can get a strafer chassis. It has all the parts, mechanism, wheels and everything ready to go for you, or you can get the parts and build your own.
Gotcha. Awesome. Thank you.
I think Go Builda's website or Go Builda's YouTube channel may have some interesting things. I know Rev's YouTube channel has some like idea videos, and I think Go Builda does something similar as well.
Okay. All right. Yeah, definitely look at that. But like I say, I would look at it. There's different ways to solve the problem. I would, there's a lot of people already putting things out on YouTube, so you can look at what other people have done with their robots, and really, it's how does your team want to implement that robot, and to solve the problems. How are you going to solve that problem? And there isn't a right way to do it. There are ways that work better than others, but it's not. There's many ways that work well, and that's part of the fun is to see how well your way works. And the other thing is you could copy somebody's that worked well, but if you didn't implement it as effectively as theirs, just the mechanics is part of it, but then there's also the actual implementation of it, how you do it, and the programming that goes in behind the scenes on it. All right. Well, do you have any other questions? All right, we will go ahead and end this. I'll go ahead and end the recording here then. Thank you for coming. We'll go ahead and post this up on our YouTube channel.